It's a late night here at the Capitol. We're joined by Congressman Gutierrez. President spoke for an hour. What did you like?
I like the fact that he talked about the future. There needs to be some balance in the rhetoric. There's a lot of rhetoric, of bigotry, of hatred out there. Whether it's, all the Mexicans that are coming here don't contribute anything and they're all murderers, rapists, and drug dealers.
But we're trying to make America great again.
Because America isn't great. And I like the way the president, so I guess those on the left and the progressives are the ones who are the cheerleaders for America, saying that we are the strongest economy in the world. The fact is 200,000 jobs were created last month, and it's been 5 years every month. Now, there's a problem, and I'm happy the president addressed it. There is an inequality. So you got a job, but you're not sure you're gonna have it next year, or it doesn't pay enough, or you had to transition. So yeah, we're creating jobs, but we need to create jobs that give people a real sense of, how would I say it, of not only value, but at the same time some security. So there is a sense that incomes have not risen with the new jobs, and we need to fix that.
So let's talk about, as part of the customary with the State of the Union is members of Congress bring guests.
Yes.
So the guest that got noticed tonight was the wrong person, Kim Davis, because she's sort of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and she got a ticket for not doing her job, which is bizarre to me. But you brought a guest, and who'd you bring to the chamber?
I brought Carol Bright. Now, Carol Bright's the president of Planned Parenthood of Illinois. And I thought to myself, wow, why don't we say thank you to all of the women and the men that work at Planned Parenthood for defending the rights. Look, my mom, she didn't have a lot of choices, right? My wife did. And I want to celebrate that progress. My wife got to go to college, and she and I had Omaira, our first daughter, and then we waited 8 years. Why? Because we believe in Planned Parenthood, right? That means my wife got to have a career, got to have a life, got to study, and got to be fulfilled, and at the same time, be a mom, be a wife, and have a household. Wow, my daughters, their future should be even greater with more freedom and more possibilities for them. So when I see people act as though it's 1956, and it's the Mad Men series, instead of, Modern Family, and it's 2016, I say, look, the Republicans simply want they want like Latinos and Asians to disappear and be quiet, right?
At least they're not trying to shoot you.
Well, yeah, but it's like, and black people, they're like, well, I'm not sure that you should all be able to vote. Let's go back before the Voting Rights Act. They want to turn back the clock on women too, right? They want gay people to go. My grandson, Luisito, he's 12, he's in 7th grade. And it's wonderful because we get to go to his birthday parties. And so when Luisito's little friend, Alice, comes and her parents are 2 men, for Luisito, that's normal, right? That's the way it is. It's so great to see that my grandson isn't going to have, and Barack Obama talked about it today, remember when he said the man who can share to the world who he really is, and the dad who, in spite of everything that he's learned, can accept his son for who he really is. My grandson's not going to have that baggage. And that's the new, America. That's a progressive America. Where women and gays and Latinos and African Americans, where the environment is important. So I like that coalition. I want to build that. I want to continue to build that coalition.
So I would be remiss if we didn't have a conversation about Chicago. Okay. And Chicago is in a really, really tough situation right now. I think your district and a lot of districts in Chicago are in this tumultuous situation where there's a battle between communities of color, police departments, communities of color, and ICE. There's just so many different moving pieces. What is your take on all of that?
Look, when you have young African-American men who I have the privilege of talking to, and they're the lieutenant colonel of the ROTC, they're at the top of their class, right? And when you ask them about, how it is they engage the police, and they tell you about how it is that when they engage the police, that it's a bad situation for them. That's not the way. One young man said, Congressman, don't worry, I've learned how to de-escalate when I come in contact with the Chicago police. Why does a 17-year-old male at the top of his class, ROTC, lieutenant colonel, right, the pride, discipline, why does his discipline have to include de-escalation? He should see the police as a friend, an ally. What happened to Mr. Friendly? I know, you could tell I'm 62 years old, but that's how I grew up, right? I mean, I want your audience to know. I remember Mr. Friendly, right? It was and the president spoke about that tonight. That police officer should be on the street, he should be connected to our community, and our community should be embracing him and helping him facilitate safety on the street. So that's not the case in the city of Chicago. Why? Because there's a divide between the police and our youth. And it's all youth, but it's particularly youth of color. And that's unfortunate because that's the majority of youth in the city of Chicago.
And so where does the blame lie? Does the blame lie with the police chief? Does the blame lie with the mayor? Does it lie with the president? Does it lie with the governor? Who is to blame for the fact that there's this breakdown in communication between the communities and the police?
Laquan McDonald was let down by everybody. He was let down by that police officer that murdered him and the other 6 police officers that covered it up, by a district attorney who didn't prosecute, by a city council that approved $5 million without looking at the video. There are so many levels in which Laquan McDonald was let down by so many different people. So let's use this opportunity to make sure we don't let any young...
How do we do that?
I think, first of all, we need to change the culture of the Chicago Police Department. This is not... Look, do I believe that there are many fine, outstanding Chicago police officers that every day go out there to do a good job? Yes, but there's still a systemic problem. And there's a code of silence in the Chicago Police Department and many other police, but I'm gonna only speak about mine, and my police department. Look, you saw the video, I saw the video. How could 6 other Chicago police officers write a report, say that police officer was justified in shooting him 16 times? They saw the video and yet look at so they cover up. And you want to know something? If you want to have a good police department that everybody respects, you got to have the good cops stand up to the bad cops that are in the police department. They have to learn, first and foremost, to police themselves. But then we need to have external. So let's retrain our Chicago. I hope the federal government, the Attorney General Lynch came to the Democratic caucus. She came to see us last week. And I got up, I was the second person to ask her a question, and I said, you know, you're the top law enforcement officer. There is a divide between the people and the police department, and there's a lack of confidence in municipal governance and those so as the chief law enforcement officer, I want you to come to Chicago. And it's great that you're meeting with Mayor Rahm Emanuel, and you're meeting with city officials, and you're meeting with the corporation council, and you're meeting with the police. You know something? You better come to the neighborhoods and meet with people and listen to them and assure them, because you can be a cornerstone to healing, right? And bringing that
So I think
that
the next question, the hard question is, I think you've heard BYP 100, Black Youth Project 100, you've heard other groups on the street, MoCo, I think it was MoCo Coke, I can never pronounce their name, G2's group on the ground there. They've called for the mayor's resignation because he has, like you said, let Laquan McDonald down. Where are you on that?
Here's what I've done. So Anita Alvarez, our Cook County state's attorney, I was part of her campaign. I endorsed her. I was part of her campaign. I wrote her a letter. I said, you know, Anita, I'm really proud of you because you're Latina, I'm Latino. There aren't a lot of people in your position of authority, but you let Laquan McDonald down. So I'm withdrawing my endorsement. I can't vote for you. Now, that's the way I believe we should act. I think there should be elections. So in March, I'm going to find another candidate for Cook County State's Attorney. And when the mayor's job comes up and gets renewed, I'll make a decision. I believe fundamentally in elections. And I think that's when you hire and that's when you fire people. And that's a process that's in place. Look, the city of Chicago confronts a huge challenge. Oh, yeah. The Chicago police are important to the safety of my daughter, to the safety of my grandson, to the safety of my community. We need to bridge this huge gap, but it has to start, right, with a complete reconfiguring of the Chicago Police Department and how they act and how they conduct themselves and just what the order of priorities are.
Now, I would be remiss if I did not let you go without talking about your #1 issue. You've battled this issue for years in this chamber, how we fix our broken immigration system. And one thing you've been a big proponent of, and I think the White House, to the left of the White House for good reason, is saying we need to stop these deportations and really figure out a solution to make sure these families stay together. Where you are with?
So I want to talk to your audience, first of all, and tell them this is a universal issue. Immigration is about black people. It's about Africans, and it's about people from the West Indies, and it's about people from Mexico, but it's also about people from the Philippines. It's also about people from Ukraine and from Poland. It really is a universal issue. It's the rainbow. And so understand that I fight for people regardless of where they come from, and we need to have that. Otherwise, we can allow people to sow the seeds of division among us here. We got a great thing going here, you know? I mean, you talk about a coalition of progressives, that exists. Look, President Barack Obama started the deportations once again, so raids on Christmas Eve, deporting Central Americans who were fleeing the violence in Central America, who were applying for refugees asylum status here in this country. And usually 142 members out of 182 signed a letter over a weekend saying, Mr. President, stop that. All three candidates. First, O'Malley said, Mr. President, you got to stop these deportations and these raids, right, among our families. And then Bernie Sanders came on Friday. And yesterday, or Monday at the debate, the Black Brown Forum, Hillary Clinton said, I got a 4-point strategy, but the first thing starts with stopping those. That's a great coalition. And I want to say to the public that hasn't come to understand this very well, that's the formation of a coalition on issues when it comes to gay people, when it comes to women's right to choose, when it comes to Black Lives Matter in the United States. That's a coalition that flourishes. And I'm happy now that immigration has become one of the cornerstones of that coalition, right? And I'm very proud. So how did we settle this? Look, we have comprehensive immigration reform, but remember, we have to understand that I believe we're going to win the presidency. Whether it's Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton, I'm supporting Hillary Clinton. But if Bernie Sanders, the Democratic nominee, is going to be the next president of the United States, I have a lot of confidence and faith in that. But if we don't take back the House and we don't take back the Senate, we have to sit down and negotiate the best relationship we can with the Republicans that are in the majority, because people are suffering out there. We can't continue with the deportation. We can't continue with people living in fear. President Barack Obama, he did a great thing, right? In 2012, he said, those young immigrants that are coming to the United States of America, whose parents are undocumented, so they came here undocumented, I'm gonna give them a chance. They're called dreamers, right? 750,000 of them now have documentation because of President Barack Obama's executive order. You know, they're in our communities, right? We can't continue to have all their parents and everybody else. We've got to figure out a way that we can settle this. Because, you know, you and I, we could sit here in the comfort of our American citizenship with our passport and that we'll, you know, this is our country and we can prove it. And then there's the man and the woman who's always in fear of losing his family and being deported and being uprooted from here. We've got to figure out a way with them. So comprehensive immigration reform. I'm going to tell you, Republicans are going to learn one thing in this coming election. They think, oh, Donald Trump, he's just great and he's telling like it is, he's going to make America great again. You know what he's also going to do? He is going to be a voter registration machine in the immigrant community. 1 million Latinos turn 18 every year. And guess what, 2016? It's going to be a bumper crop when it comes to those Latinos turning 18, registering to vote, and participating in November, thanks to Donald Trump's trying to make America great again.
I couldn't find a better place to end it. A gentleman and a scholar, Congressman Gutierrez, thanks so much for being on the Fowler Show.
Thanks. Pleasure to be with you.